Welcome to the show. This is Internet Uncapped. I am your host, Evan. Joining me as always is Mitchell, or Super Guy with Cushioned Socks. Sure. Um,
I literally typed it in and then I don't know what happened. Google literally was like, "Oh, here you go." And it
Socks is, yeah, still
yeah,
Socks is.
I don't know
Um,
what the fuck socks is.
yeah, I don't know what Socks is. We've been putting out some videos recently, but it has been a bit since last done a video or a mini-sode. That is because Mitchell, you had a bit of an internet uh poop out
Debacle.
debacle, to say the least. His internet was not working, and we are a podcast about the internet, and we couldn't do it because his internet wasn't working. But we're back. He's got internet, as you can see. We are also a little bit late in terms of a couple of news things that have gone on in the world of movies and television. And so let's try to catch up if we can. I'm going to share my screen right now, but we need to talk about a pretty recent. Recent being relative at this point in the game, but
Hmm.
it was the announcement of the Superman sequel, and
Yep.
that is the Man of Tomorrow. It was put out pretty simply by James Gunn, and as you can see, it was just literally Man of Tomorrow in theaters, which it's funny because he did the British spelling of theaters. I don't know why. He's American, but whatever. July 9th in 2027. And as you can see, we have a picture here drawn by artist Jim Lee, and with Lex Luthor in the famous green suit, along with Superman holding, I think, a screwdriver, which I think is kind of interesting. But there was a lot of hype and a lot of buzz for a whole variety of different reasons. Oh, and one other thing, for some context, there were some speculation about the Marvel movie Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, it potentially getting a sequel. And Simu Liu, who was the main actor, he got a little salty. He did a little tongue in cheek. So he did a thumbs up because this was a sequel that was sort of like greenlit pretty quickly. And we have not been able to see the sequel for Shang-Chi, unfortunately. So he was just kind of being a little sarcastic, but otherwise, I think he was just doing that in good fun. But in terms of, I just want to talk about in terms of the image itself because this was causing a lot of speculation online. First things first, though, is the actual name of the movie, which is Man of Tomorrow. So
Hmm.
similarly, like with Batman, and I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. So similarly with Batman, he's known as the Dark Knight,
Yep.
and Superman actually has a couple of different monikers, names that he's affiliated with. One of them is the Man of Steel, and the other one is Man of Tomorrow from the sort of earlier 1930s comics. And so, what's interesting is that a lot of people are really speculating that Superman, you know, again, if you haven't seen the movie at this point, or if you haven't seen our Superman review, we are going to link our Superman review in the description down below. But in terms of Superman, when we saw it, this was Superman relatively early in his career, like 3 years in. He was someone who, was trying to get his bearings straight, trying to get a really good grip on the whole super business, being a superhero, interacting with these other superheroes within this, the universe and whatever. Man of Tomorrow is like, this is it. Like, this is like him at his prime. He is at the top of his game. This is the big time for him, like as a character. And there were many eras that really, in the comics, that sort of highlighted that. Most especially in the 90s, which was called the Triangle era, Triangle being the three main Superman series is at that point in time that were being put out, and that they were telling sort of an interconnected story between these three titles. But in terms of the picture, a lot of people are speculating that basically it may be likely that Lex Luthor may not be the main villain like in the first movie. He may be a main character, and he actually might even potentially team up with Superman to actually defeat an even bigger threat. And that's what a lot of people are sort of speculating right now. People are throwing out a lot of names. People like, give us Brainiac, give us, this and that. Um, but anyway, so I wanted to show you one more thing before we get to some discussion, Mitchell. Um, in addition to the Jim Lee picture, he also shared a few other pictures, which is not usual for someone in his position. But I think it's really great. So here is a picture that we just saw of Lex Luthor and Superman, drawn by Jim Lee. This is a picture drawn by Jorge Jimenez, and this is one drawn by the artist Mitch Gerrards, or however you say his name. And it was very cool. It was just a really cool tease. Just here it is. This is the movie. It's confirmed, and here's some really nice art to showcase to all the movie fans and whatever. So Mitchell, um, what are your thoughts about the announcement? What are your thoughts about some of the speculation going on, and what are your predictions about where this could be going for the Superman saga?
Yeah, so I mean, first things first. Like we saw the movie, I thought it was a really good movie. I
Oh,
enjoyed it. Um, I'm always excited with James Gunn and some of the things that he does. Um, so I'm interested to see what he does next. Um, Now, when it comes to like Superman, just comic books in general, I don't have the wealth of knowledge that you have. So when I hear this, I just think, oh wow, another Superman movie. So it did well, clearly. Um, and again, I think James Gunn does a really good job. I'm interested to see what they do next. Brainiac, it would not surprise me if they hold off on him
hmm,
because Brainiac. This is and the reason why I'll say this is because of a certain IP. I'm going to pull it up right now.
hmm,
Um,
okay.
there's kind of a bad reputation due to this product right here getting the photo up right now. Oop, no, I don't want that. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen now, and it's because of this. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Oh.
Brainiac is the main villain,
Oh, interesting.
and my thought is, I
Mm,
like Brainiac. We're going to wait to see him just because of just how bad this game was. So, um,
uh-huh.
this was my
Interesting. Okay.
experience playing the game. So these are your four characters. We're not going to go too in depth. I just want to go like 5 minute overview of this.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
You have Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, King Shark, Deadshot, and this Deadshot is actually a completely different Deadshot from the Batman Arkham series. And then they were just like, "Oh, that wasn't the real That wasn't the real Deadshot." They literally race swapped him. Um, in the previous games, he was Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, someone got a photo up here, so let me stop sharing that and let me pull up this photo. And boom, this is what he looked like in Arkham Asylum. I believe
Mhm.
it was Arkham Asylum. Um,
Yeah, I think
and
so. That looks about right.
not Asylum, sorry. Arkham
City?
City.
Ah,
Yeah,
City. Okay. All right.
yeah. So
Oh,
I know
that's right.
he
He
was.
was in Arkham City. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
he was in Arkham City. You had to find him.
Yeah.
He had like three kills, and you had to go to each crime scene. And then this
Mhm.
was him and Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
Um, Different voice actor, everything. Um, yeah, the game overall, going back to that original screen, again, those are your four characters. They would later introduce the Joker from another dimension because the Joker in that dimension had died in Arkham City.
Mhm.
And then they also introduced I don't even remember. I hated the game so much. I disliked it. It was Slade. Right here we got Slade. This
Nice.
is Deadshot's daughter. And her name is, I don't know,
Hmm.
Lawless. And I don't even know who was season two.
Interesting.
Let's search it up.
Oh, man.
Like that's how like bad. Oh, it's Nora Freeze. Is that what it is?
Oh, really? Oh, weird. That's
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze's wife for context, but I guess they changed it so that she's like Mrs. Freeze or whatever.
Yeah,
That's not good. I don't like that at all. Oh
yeah,
man.
so that was the whole
Ugh.
debacle with this game. I like and I played it because I've
Mhm.
just been craving the Arkham, games, and this was
Yeah.
supposed to be it. It was not
Mm,
it. It was terrible. I
no.
hated it, and I thought it was dog water.
Yeah.
And Brainiac again was the main villain. And the
Okay.
the plan for this game was, as you can see, this is season 3. You played as Lawless. Season 1 was the
Mhm.
Joker. Everyone kept calling him the Jockler because of just how terrible he was. Season 2 was Nora Freeze. Season 4 was Slade, and that's when they ended it. They wanted to do a season, um, every 3 months, and the game was
Mhm.
supposed to have a 3-year life cycle. And then they were going to end up showing what everyone predicted was, oh, the Justice League is not really dead. The Flash is not dead, and oh, spoiler alert, my bad, but that no one fucking died, and and Brainiac didn't actually kill them. He just kept them contained somewhere so he could go ahead and steal their powers. That
Mhm.
was literally the game, and he
Wow.
was the main villain. And it's similar. I'm going to use a wrestling analogy.
Yeah.
In wrestling, you have your world champions, you have your goats, you have your guys. Yeah, it's Roman Reigns, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. Those guys defined eras. Stone
Yes.
Cold Steve Austin,
Yeah.
they defined eras. They were the top guys. Ric Flair, another one. And then you had guys that were on that same level. Like you look at John Cena when he was at the top. Randy Orton was there.
Mhm.
Edge was there.
Mhm.
You look at Stone Cold. It was The Rock, Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. Those guys were at the top.
Mhm.
Um, and then you have the next level of guys. And those are the guys who are, they might have a run. They might have 2 runs as a world champion, but they're not necessarily going to go ahead and feed mouths like all the time.
Mhm.
They're more, and then they have the mid card, the guys that are always elevating the champions. Like they might get a shot at the belt. They might have 1, 2 runs, but that's it, and they're short lived. And it's just fan service. Like this guy you always cheer on, he won the belt. Yeah, he held it for 3 months. Yeah, and he lost. Back to the mid card, bitch. And
Okay.
sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And when you look at villains in the DCU or even in the Marvel universe, you have villains that are like that. You have some villains that you need to build up, like Thanos. Thanos and Marvel,
Absolutely.
they
Yep.
built him up so well, and they
Mhm.
fed some guys to the Marvel in the Marvel universe to some of these characters to get their ass kicked.
Mhm.
And you looked at how they built him up, and look how they built up Kang. Kang got beat by ants.
True.
He did not.
Not a
They
great
didn't
look.
build.
Not a
Yeah, they
great look.
didn't build him up well. Um,
Yeah.
but with this game and with the DCU, Brainiac, you got to put him on the shelf. People looked at him. They went, oh, "This is Brainiac from the game." Oh, ugh. You have to do a lot to try to make him so much better. So I would stay away from it. I think there's still a sour taste in their mouth, and they have to
Hmm.
try to work on it. I would
Sure.
serve up another villain, and that's the one thing that I'm genuinely worried about. I think they need another villain to take the mantle, if you will.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
overall I'm
would
excited.
agree. Yeah, sure. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just that's it. Overall, I'm excited though.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm very excited too, and I have a lot of faith in James Gunn. I have a lot of faith in his direction as the
Hmm.
CEO of DCU Studios, but also just as a filmmaker. I mean, he is at the top of his game right now, and he's always been at the top of his game since Guardians. But like right now, I think he's putting out his best work, and
Hmm.
certainly he is giving a lot of people creative freedom. We're gonna get into that a little bit in terms of the other DC U movies. But I think that's an interesting thing. Brainiac is a very interesting character because has he goes a couple of different ways. So he's an iconic, villain, but at the exact same time, what's very interesting, he doesn't have the most memorable stamp in a lot of different media. People know about him in
This was memorable for all the wrong ways.
all the wrong reasons, unfortunately. So I have no doubt about that. But like he's had he's had good representation in media, but he's not like, oh my god, like Brainiac, like oh my god, but he's very well known. Everybody knows who he is in terms of the Superman story, right? And all of that, and even other characters like Brainiac 5, who is in a superhero. He was in a superhero team called the Legion of Superheroes. There's a whole thing about where Brainiac comes from and his whole world and how they operate. It's messed up, but it's really cool. But anyway, I would definitely say though that if they were to build up Brainiac, and I actually do agree with you, I think they should for this particular villain because he can be very big and he is a very consequential villain. In a way, kind of similar to Thanos in some respects, not 100%, but in many other ways. But you have a lot of options that you
Hmm.
can choose from. I think that if they really wanted to go a very interesting route, that I think would be not only cool but actually very disturbing, and it would force Superman and Lex Luthor to team up. Let me actually get him up right now. 1 second. My candidate, if this can pull up, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Um, oh no, that's not it. Sorry. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties here. All right, this is gonna be a little small, but it'll get the point across. My candidate for who I think the villain in Superman would be is Parasite. So this character, relatively known, but he had a very prominent role in the Superman animated series back in the late '90s. He was amazing. And in the comics, he's a little less amazing. He's more monstrous compared to sort of this version of the character. But basically, Parasite is he's kind of like Rogue from the X-Men. Basically, he like absorbs people's abilities and kind of like takes it in, and he doesn't quite like emulate it like Rogue, but he can like kind of like he can it's hard to explain, but basically he sucks people's energy. He's like a vampire in a sense, but also he can turn to this big giant crazy, monster thing, and he can also like like suck the life out of people. Like he's a very very dangerous villain, especially because he was like a former criminal at one point and he has that kind of like criminal mentality of like how to get around things and how to manipulate people. Like this like he is both kind of like a master manipulator, but he's also this very monstrous kind of creature thing. So there are a lot of different ways that you could do it for someone like this guy. But Parasite would be a very interesting pick if they wanted to go in that direction, aside from someone like Brainiac. But it has to be a big villain. It can't just be like a tiny or a small villain. There are others, of course. I don't know who. Wait, I don't. Nobody knows the direction of where they're going. But the only thing that people are pretty certain about, and that I think is pretty certain, is that whatever happens, Superman, Lex Luthor, they're gonna team up. There's probably gonna be more characters that are gonna be involved in whatever this big threat is gonna be, and that's gonna propel this going forward. Now, I'm gonna do one thing, and this is the next thing, and then I think we'll wrap it up after this. But I want to just go over very quickly the Gods and Monsters official, uh, you know, list of movies that have confirmed release dates. So as you can see, we already had Superman. That was the kickstart to pretty much everything. And in 2026, we have two movies, Supergirl as well as Clayface. Clayface is underway right now. They are filming for that one. And of course, we have for 2027, The Man of Tomorrow. Now, well, I want to just say this very quickly before we really get into some discussion. He has James Gunn. He said that he has a focus of creating a Superman saga. In other words, I think he's gonna do maybe 3 or 4 movies that really solidify like
Hmm.
beginning, middle, and end of sort of that character arc for where Superman is kind of going. I think Supergirl is involved in this too. But we already have like a bunch of different movies that he were announced that were in possible production. But all we out of the but the movie, it's kind of odd. It's kind of an odd thing here, as you can see, because three out of the last four movies are Superman related, where only one is truly unique and like separate from that, even though it takes place in the same universe. So, my speculation about why this is that we may be getting a second movie in 2027, and it could be either unannounced, a movie that we have no idea about, or it could be one of the ones that we do know about, like The Brave and the Bold, which is the Batman movie, Sergeant Rock, any of those ones. So maybe they may be doing you know, one Superman here and the other individual different type of movie over there, and then they kind of build it out for the next few years. Mitchell, what do you think about what has been released so far in terms of the release schedule, and where do you think they might be doing? Like I said, I think they may be doing Superman and something else, and they may be divvying it out for a couple years before they do something and go in a slightly different direction. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so when you go ahead and you look at like this list here, can you pull it back up, please?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
let me pull it back up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
there we go. Pow, pow, pow. Yeah, I mean, Supergirl. I mean, I don't know too much about the actress
Hmm.
that is playing Supergirl, so I can't comment on her. Like, I don't know her work. I mean, I also didn't know the actor for Superman. I didn't know him too well. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. You know what I mean? James Gunn, I think he finds the perfect people to fit the roles that he wants.
Hmm.
Um, so we will see what happens. Then you go ahead and you look at Clayface. Now I've played the Arkham games, and Clayface has always been a guy that I've been extremely, and I do mean extremely, interested in. So
Hmm.
I want to see how this plays out because, to my knowledge, Clayface. This is what I know about Clayface from playing video games. He is into plays.
Yeah.
He's an actor, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
and
Actor. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
yep.
Oop.
So I want to see. I think this will be the Joker movie with Phoenix. What's Joaquin Phoenix? I
Joaquin
want them to
Phoenix.
go
Yeah.
that route.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, Joaquin, that's what it is. Sorry, so
Sure.
I want them to go the tragic route.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, he's totally gonna get the tragic route. And I'll just want to quickly
I
interject by saying that
want
Mike Flanagan is involved in the
them
screenplay. Mike Flanagan did a lot
to
of
do
horror movies, including
something
Gerald's Game. He did the recent Life of Chuck.
gritty,
That's
and
not really,
I think James.
yeah, not gritty at all. It's actually very supposed to be
Yeah,
feel good. But he's done a lot of horror movies, and he's done like the Haunting of Hill House, I think, was the Netflix series, and Midnight Mass. Oop, oh, what happened?
yeah, cut out for a second there, but
Okay,
it's still
so anyway,
recording.
just to continue, Mike Flanagan has done a lot of horror movies. He did Oculus and stuff like that. He said recently that he wanted to, um, adapt with his screenplay a very famous two-part. And I'm gonna actually stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna quickly pull this up. But basically, he did a two-part um, episode of Batman the Animated Series. Um, uh, which basically he says that is the main inspiration for um, you know yeah, here we go. This is what I'm going to do. It's the main inspiration for uh, his script, and just gonna share it right now. But the name of the episode was called Feats of Clay. And if anybody has ever seen the episode, they will recognize this specific image. This is a very iconic two-part episode that really solidified Clayface, not just as a Batman villain, but as a very tragic figure. And there are actually a bunch of different Clayfaces, but there's Basil Carlo. I think Matt Hagen is another one, and then there's like a third one. So there are multiple clay faces, but the one that, um, for the most part, gets talked about here, and that this is kind of the one that I think is the inspiration for this movie, is the Matt Hagen version, who is an actor basically. Basil Carlo was kind of an actor too, but he was more of a crook and whatever. Um, but yeah, it's what's also interesting is that there are some pictures out there that does inspiration from the movie Nosferatu. And
Hmm.
Mitchell, if you remember, we actually saw Nosferatu earlier this year. There was a lot of shadows and a lot of
Yes.
like looming dread and that kind of thing. And there's been some pictures out there floating around that sort of show that kind of inspiration. So they're doing a little bit of act. I would definitely bet that this is going to be a very tragic thing. He might have been a very famous actor. He got into some stuff. He turned to Clayface. You know, all of that. But it's going to be lit. I am very interested to see like what they end up doing. But that I think you're right. They could go the very tragic route, kind of Joker esque, sort of establish him as like this big time villain or whatever. I would not be surprised, to be honest, Mitchell, if Batman shows up in this movie before, Brave and the Bold. I don't think it's out of the question that Batman shows up in a kind of Batman related movie like Clayface.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm interested. Clayface is the one I'm most interested for. Out
Sure.
of all the, I mean, I'm right now I'm watching the what's it, Peacemaker. I think that's
Yes.
great, but the Clayface movie, I'm super ecstatic for.
Yeah. No, and it's really interesting because James Gunn has the focus that he wants to focus on. He wants to have the Superman saga, and he wants to sort of build out the DC universe through Superman. And I think that's really good.
Hmm.
But it's also interesting that he's also has like a bunch of other focuses at the same time, which is not an easy thing to do, by the way.
Hmm.
Not an easy thing to pull off at all. And yet he's got the right people, he's got the right drive. He I don't know. And not that it's just him, but he and his team have figured it out. I mean, you got Superman, you got Peacemaker, you've got potentially the inclusion of Blue Beetle. You have what else? Well, obviously Supergirl and Clayface and all these other movies. Like it's like whatever people gravitate toward, they're gonna go for. They're gonna go for it. Now, the question of quality, we don't know yet. Superman is a very successful start, but we don't know quite yet like what's gonna happen in terms of like how these movies are received. But it is that's what I found the most interesting about this announcement is that more Superman movies have been announced than any of the other kinds of movies. So um, it's not clear to me, sort of yet, where exactly they're going to lead to. I think that at this point in time, nobody really knew like what was happening with Marvel. But then after a few years, it was becoming a little clearer that people were speculating that it was going to lead to um, a kind of a pared down Avengers, but still an Avengers movie nonetheless. I really don't know where the heck this is going to lead to. It's very very hard to tell. And obviously, with Iron Man, like Nick Fury comes out and he's like, "I want to tell you about the Avengers." And people are like, "Oh shit." Superman didn't have anything. It was
Hmm.
like, this is Superman. We're going to go to Supergirl next, and then you got to like wait for Supergirl and see what's going on. Um so that I find a little frustrating, but I'm interested where it's going at the same time. I think that there's no question that there's going to be a Justice League movie. There's no question that there's going to be a Justice League, but it's still like I'm just it's. But I think Peacemaker, Mitchell. They said that basically that's going to be the next stepping stone leading into Man of Tomorrow. I don't know how in the world they're going to do that, and yet I am still interested to see what's going to happen.
They're gonna retcon everything that was done previously. This is my Theo theory. They're gonna try
Yeah,
to retcon everything. Rick Flag being killed, the Suicide Squad movies. They're gonna retcon all of that,
yeah.
and they're gonna go into that new dimension that Peacemaker has gone in. We've been watching the show. The
Mm-hmm.
new dimension that he's going to go in, that's going to be the new universe. I guarantee it, because
Mm.
like you have all these movies and stuff that were made beforehand, and you've killed off some people. Now you've recasted things. Like, look at the ending of Peacemaker season 1. They had Jason Momoa, they had Flash, and then they changed it to now it was Hawk. I was Hawk Girl and the Green Lantern in episode 1.
Right.
So I think they're
Yes.
gonna try to play it off as like, this is a new universe. Ah, yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, no. I think that's a good theory. There's something else though that I will mention. So with Peacemaker, we're gonna mention. We're just gonna mention it. So yeah, Peacemaker. He dealt with the sort of alien butterflies, and that was a whole very messed up thing. Now, with the fact that his father, who is a heavy white supremacist supervillain, he had access to all of these different dimensions in his closet. And now Chris Peacemaker is sort of going through and trying to figure out like what his life looks like because he kind of messed up royally. And then all of these mistakes are coming pretty much to roost, even though he's like pretending to be like a different version of himself in a different dimension. But people have pointed out one thing, Mitchell, and I don't have a picture necessarily, but I didn't even think about it consciously. Um, this dimension, when there was a fire and Chris Peacemaker, he like jumped into a building and he saved everybody and everybody was cheering. There is not a single person of color in the place. There's nobody around is like black or Asian or whatever. And it's like, wait, what? Like, huh?
I didn't.
So something's
Um,
going on. I don't know if that was intentional, and I think it was. To be honest, I
I
think it was for the
okay,
story
okay.
reasons.
Bear
But it's
with
like,
me. Bear with me. We're gonna throw this in there.
all right,
I
let's
didn't.
do it.
I didn't. I didn't think. I didn't notice that.
I
But
didn't either.
if you mentioned it, this is my new theory. His dad is the leader of like some super mega racist thing,
Yeah.
and I think he's gonna try to go to that new dimension.
Yeah.
And when he goes to that new dimension, he's gonna realize, oh shit, they're all racist. Ah,
Ah!
because remember
Yeah. Right.
his
Oh
dad,
no, Dad! What have you done?
like his dad was a racist.
Yeah.
And remember, I think it's episode 3. It's episode 3 or
Yeah.
episode
Episode
4.
3. Mm-hmm.
Like his brother is like, oh, like you were in like the library or the study or something like that. There was blood. And then he was in, oh no, the trophy room. That's what they called it. And
Mm-hmm.
he calls it like the library. And he's like,
Yep.
no, it's the trophy room. And dude, there's going to be something racist in there, and that's how
Oh,
he's
there's
going to discover.
totally something's gonna happen with that. There's no question.
Yeah, because
Um.
I think what he's going to realize is that maybe my dimension theory is wrong. It's going to be one of two things. I think either they're going to. I don't think that Peacemaker stays in that dimension, the
No.
current dimension that he's in.
I don't think so, to be
I
honest.
think he's going
Something's
to
gonna
go.
happen, and he's gonna realize that he had it well in his own dimension. He shouldn't be
No,
living a
no,
fake
no, no.
life or whatever.
That's
I
not
don't
what I'm
think that's
saying.
gonna. Yeah,
That's not what I'm
that
saying.
could.
That's no, 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 no. So
Oh,
his dimension we're going to say is Dimension A.
okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Dimension B is going to be the new dimension that he's been going to and visiting. Dimension C is going to be another dimension. I think he is going to realize that he can't stay in Dimension A because Argus is after him. That's what I think. And I think
Hmm.
he's going to flee to go to another dimension. He's going to realize Dimension B is full of racists and that he can't stay there. And
Right.
then he's going to find Dimension C. And when he
Yeah.
finds Dimension C, I think he's going to go to that dimension. And I think that dimension is going to be the new dimension. So then James Gunn doesn't have to rewrite everything. It's kind of a
Yeah, and
lazy
then
way to
that would
do it, but I
potentially set
think
him up for Man of Tomorrow. I think that would be kind of interesting. Yeah,
boom,
makes sense.
pa,
That makes sense. Pow, 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 pow. We'll see what happens. We'll
yeah,
have to come back to this video and see if that ends up happening. And for all we know, we could still have a ton of curveballs. I think that makes a lot of sense directionally, though.
yeah. I didn't think about that. I didn't notice that. Uh,
I didn't
that's
either, and that's the crazy part. I didn't notice that at all, and yet when I saw it online, I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
yeah, and it's because of everything that's going on. Like it's so fast paced and there's so
So
much
fast
happening.
paced, everything's going on. You can't like think about these things, and yet when you see it, it's like, oh,
Hmm.
okay. Very interesting. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Peacemaker, but it is it's like it is interesting because it's like, how is Peacemaker related to Superman in any particular way? Well, obviously he had the cameo, but
Yep.
I think if this other dimension that he goes to, if that directly translates to what ends up happening with the Man of Tomorrow, seems to check out. So we'll see what happens. But I would be interested. I don't know who, again, villain wise. I don't know what direction they would go in. If they do end up doing Brainiac, they got to bring it, and I hope that they can bring it. There was a show called Krypton. I've never seen it before. Supposedly, that Brainiac, the live action Brainiac for that TV show, was very good. Supposedly,
Hmm.
I've never seen it. My Brainiac is the one from the Superman the animated series. He's awesome and he's badass and he's also a menace. But I think if they were to do Brainiac, I think they could do him well. But it is interesting to see like if they're how it's a little hard to tell how they would even build him up. Parasite, you don't need to build him up. He's literally this like mastermind criminal who like got mutated and now he's trying to steal people's abilities, and he can only like live by like stealing people's like life essence and stuff like that. I think that would be kind of more menacing and more dangerous, me personally. So, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, I think that's gonna wrap up today's episode minisode.
Hmm.
I think I'm just gonna wrap up by saying that I I don't think it's a good idea, me personally, to have a lot of Superman movies as you're kicking off this multiple, this multi, like this universe. I think that they if they are going to like I think if they're going to have Man of Tomorrow, but you definitely need to have at least another separate movie in 2027, and then maybe wait a bit before Superman 3, maybe like wait not 2 years but maybe 3 or 4 years, something like that. And set everything else up. I don't think it makes sense to just do Superman. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So spread it out. Spread out the Superman. We don't need Superman like this soon. We already have Supergirl. We don't need we don't need Superman every single year for a bit. I don't think we do. But I think those are my general thoughts. Oh, and as for Peacemaker, we'll see what happens. Now,
Hmm.
Mitchell, let's close it off. What are your final thoughts?
James Gunn, I have faith, sir. Thumbs up.
Don't jam the gun.
Yep.
Okay,
But
well, that concludes our episode today of Internet Uncapped. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit Lex Luthor in the face, smash that like button. Follow us on Spotify as well as our Instagram page. Until next time, we will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody.